Hi everyone, it's Beck here and long time no chat. I don't think I've done a video for a while, so I'm going to catch you up on a few things. I wanted to share with you my monthly order for the month of, what month are we in? We're in November, so it must be a November order, because sometimes when I do it early in the month it can sometimes be the month before, but no, this is definitely a November order. Just had to think for 2 seconds where we are in the month. So I made a relatively small order. In fact, all of my orders lately have been quite small. I've been doing focused kind of oils in different arenas. So you may have seen my last video, which I believe was around loyalty. And that loyalty blend was one that I never liked in the past, and now, oh, my chooks have been broody all morning and I just took them out of their pen so that they could get some food and drink, because otherwise they sit in there and they'll get dehydrated. So I had to lift them out. When they get broody, they just stay in the house. So you can hear them now having a bit of carry on out there, most likely in the background. And that the next one, the previous one before that, was about releasing emotions when you're on your moon cycle. Now, I don't know, I don't think I've ever shared my age. I often get from people that I'm around about 30-ish, 35, and I'm actually 44, and I'll be turning 45 early next year. And so I feel complimented by that, probably because I've got an olive skin tone. I feel like maybe it keeps my skin looking younger. I do things and have done a lot of things in my life to maintain a healthy skin as much as possible. I do have and did get pigmentation after I had children. I've got it generally around the outer sides of my face, and so I'm not really fazed by that by any means either. I actually don't mind pigmentation. It's almost like a bit of like a sun kiss, like a freckle. So it's not a bother to me whatsoever. But I know some people can be really quite bothered about pigmentation on their skin. I don't mind it. So I guess it's just how you perceive what your skin likes for you. There's a bit of a carry-on theme, because a long time ago I did a video on women's wellness. It was a freaking awesome video, and I'm super annoyed at myself for not checking my mic before I did the video, and I did it on my computer, and I've resorted back to my phone now. So I think the sound is better quality from my phone than it is on my Zoom, and even with the mic in, I think it's still better. It's not as airy. So there's nothing worse than having to listen to somebody with an airy kind of like mic. It's not that fun at all, actually. In fact, I generally probably would click off if it's like that, because it's just too much. So yeah, I totally understand people need good quality sound, and I appreciate that as well for my people. So I wanted to kind of elaborate on from that, because going from the releasing emotions on a moon cycle to talking about women's wellness in general, kind of breaking down the video I did a long time ago, but not necessarily in one take, obviously, and not condensed down into specific all those oils, etc. I think predominantly I'm just going to go with the flow now. Whatever oils I order, I'm going to talk about, generally speaking, probably women's wellness now. Ever since I became a mum, so that was when my first child is now 14 and a half. So that was 15 and a half years ago when I conceived and was pregnant for 9 months. We always count the 9 months as part of that cycle as becoming a mother. I think it's a part of the bonding process with your new holding child. And so yeah, ever since then everything has kind of shifted for me. My birth wasn't the greatest. I don't want to tell you the horror story of my birth story, but I will say that it was very intervened. and it was something that I wasn't necessarily hoping for whatsoever. In fact, I was hoping to have a home birth, and that at that time it was quite an expensive venture. And then after having such a horrendous hospital birth, it was a no-brainer for my second baby to be a home birth. And even my midwife told me that they could see where my cervix was burnt, where the prostin gel was put on where I was induced. And I also have little traumatic flashbacks every now and again of the birth, where I was told to have an epidural, and bearing down from a sitting, laying on your back position is not ideal, just so you know. There's some really amazing websites out there about home birthing that are super educational, and it's always wise to keep some medical people in the awareness, like, you know, getting your checkups regularly and all of those kind of things, so that you've got the best of both worlds at your side. So don't do anything completely out there, because it could cause you pain with the medical people in the future. I know that I've just read something recently which has been kind of quite hard to read, and so I'm definitely a home birthing advocate. You can even still have water births in the hospital, and with midwives, rather than having doctors running around you. I think that's probably a magical experience, that it's happening in the hospital environment, but it's a very non-medicalized situation. So I could rant on about birth for quite some time. I'm very much a birth nerd, and as a woman, as a mother, and especially after my experiences. So I've had the best of both worlds, really. Well, not the best, the worst of one world and the best of another. And so after my first baby was born, I had a lot of wounding and a lot of injury, birthing injury, and a lot of pain, and a lot of, I guess, long-term issues that came with the birth. And I think people may or may not experience this, but what can happen is, especially when you're induced, and I was supposedly 3 weeks overdue for your first baby, from what I know, and you can do what you can like to learn about how birthing a first child is like, to educate yourself. That first babies do take a little bit longer, and a lot of people probably don't know their cycle very well. So so I don't think I was actually ready yet to birth, clearly, hence the reason. But I was vulnerable and took the advice of a younger friend who had already had a birth, and had suggested getting an induction, and I probably should never have listened to that advice, and just kept maintaining my big wall around everyone saying, no, I'm not ready. But I obviously caved at some point, being vulnerable in your later birth, first child, not really having that awareness, trusting people who have already birthed, especially women. So I went ahead and made that choice, and it was a really, really bad choice, and I went against all of my own understandings and knowledge and wisdom. So I definitely think that women should stay within their own wisdom and tell everybody else that they don't know what's best for you, and you should do what's best for you. Including if mine doesn't resonate with you, don't listen to me. Listen to yourself. So after that, because of that reason, I used to be quite fit. I used to be a regular runner, and I loved going to the gym, and I loved doing any kind of sporty activity. And after that, I was completely not able to do the things that I was doing before. And I think a lot of women experience this, but mine was a long-term problem. So I wasn't able to do that level of exercise. And I think a lot of people, probably there's a stigma around it, don't want to even discuss it. Even I'm very much being an open book and loving discussing and supporting other women going through birthing traumas and body traumas that go along with birthing traumas. And so because of that, yeah, I've obviously also decided to eat like in different patterns as well. I've just started eating a lot more healthy fats again lately. Been getting into my avocados and olives and feta cheese and good oils, and I will do a video on good oils at one point in time, because Young Living does have some really amazing supplements as well. But because I've stacked on the weight, because my eating habits of the past have been up and down, I've had good eating habits and bad eating habits, and then my body hasn't had as much exercise because I haven't been physically able to feel good enough to get out there and do that level of high intensity exercise, because of the various different events that have led up to that as well, not just birth but after birth as well, where I've tried to go back and then I've had situations that have been almost humiliating in some respects, at the least embarrassing. And I know that a lot of people are very good and like you know, kind-hearted and understanding when it comes to women getting back into exercise after birth. But I think that was just, yeah, beyond its limits for me, that's for sure. I definitely have a high standard of dignity, that's for sure. So everybody will know their own limits around that as well. I now, 15 years later, I am also now starting to go through what some people would class as perimenopause, or even slash menopause. I'm only quite young, and these days I've even heard, I don't know if it was a podcast or something that I read, someone was talking about 40s being the new middle age, because life expectancy is around the 80s now. We're not expected to live to hundreds anymore. We're expected to live to 80s. Strangely, that we have all these interventions and medicines that we should be living longer and better qualities of life, but clearly that's not the case. I would like the stats on that to be definitely sure, but I don't have them with me right now, and I haven't done any kind of educational research around that either. So from what I heard from listening to that podcast or reading that post, I can't remember which it was now, but it was definitely saying that 40s is now middle age, which kind of sounds a little bit true to me. It has a ring to it that sounds about right. Hopefully, you know, we can get our act together with regards to our wellness. I know I definitely do want my fitness back. I loved running. And so because I've got so much body weight on my body now, a lot of estrogen, I just spoke to my GP about this, so I'm just regurgitating information from a conversation with my GP. A lot of the body fat stores estrogen, which is obviously not a great thing, because if you know, high estrogen is really a kind of awareness of bad things happening in the body. And if that's how it stores, then you need something to help yourself process it when you are trying to go through maybe a weight loss journey or something like that, so that you can allow your body to process it out safely, I feel. So sometimes it's not a bad thing to have weight on. Sometimes people's organs get destroyed instead of it going packed on as fat weight, like bad fat weight. So I have been told, and like obviously the healthy fats do help, I've been told that sage is amazing. And when you look in all of the books around women's wellness, clary sage is definitely one of the ones that is a big voice in the way of women's wellness. But all sage, any type of sage, even your basic sage, is really, really amazing. So I've actually ordered, and this month I did order a clary sage. And I've been using another oil, which is actually a men's blend called Mister, which has a lot of sage in it. and I've been kind of trying to use a few different oils. So the other oil I was also using was Endoflex, and Endoflex, well, part of the name is endo, so you can kind of get the picture there. But the oils that are in there also have women's wellness oils. So I've been kind of interchanging them, and now I've got clary sage, so I've got 3 different sages that I can use to be able to, or 3 different, sage, clary sage on its own, and 2 different blends with sage in them to be able to use as a tummy massage to help my body be able to process any of those estrogens. So, and also apparently clary sage and all sages are very calming. And I don't know about you, but at that time of the month, us women can, you know, get our claws out, and we can be a little bit catty and nasty and just say some things, which is generally, I feel like, emotional stresses that haven't been dealt with. I feel like that's part of the moon cycle. So, you know, we have the cycle on purpose so that we can let go and release, and that our cycle, our actual blood, is the lining of our uterus leaving our body. It's like release, let go. It's not just about the physiology, it's about the psychology as well. So they kind of go hand in hand there. So I think that it gives us permission, and in the past when women used to bleed together and cycle together and used to have red tents and things like that, you know, we used to be able to support each other. But since women have kind of more or less been separated out of their women's communities, and I know that there's still like people that really convene together in their women's circles, and I love that. I think that's really beautiful. If you can go to a regular women's wellness circle, I highly recommend it. I used to go to red tents, and they all kind of started to I guess they just dissolved, and they must have moved on, and some people still do them, and they're a bit further away, so I couldn't attend. So yeah, so there's lots of different cool things that you can do to help your women's wellness. Another oil that I loved was Sensation, for women's wellness as well. It's a beautiful aroma. It's only 5 ml, but it packs a punch. It's a really beautiful, like very potent and concentrated oil. The other 2 oils that I got this month are kind of like side notes. I haven't even opened them yet. One is lavender, which I was running out of, needing lavender like on a regular basis. Whenever it gets low, I'm obviously always going to top that oil up. And Dry-Dries. Excuse me, I feel like I need a little pick-me-up now. But Dry-Dries is one of those beautiful oils which kind of goes hand in hand with women's wellness, because hormones, I guess, are regulated from a place of the gut. If you've got a bad gut going on, your hormones are probably more than likely going to be out as well, because it's just like, oh my goodness, you just have to read more about it. If you don't know how the gut affects the brain, how the gut affects the hormones, how the gut affects basically our whole beingness, then, you know, it's probably vital information that could be part of missing equation for you. But if you do know about it, you'll get what I mean. So Dry-Dries is a very awesome oil for that. So, but I've already opened up clary sage and Sensation because I wanted to start using it straight away. I couldn't wait to do the video. And I've actually also pulled out the same book as I pulled out last time, this Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils. And I wanted to look up clary sage and Sensation because I didn't look up the emotion to find the oil to help me with the emotion this time. I was told about a sage, and I don't know what drew me to Sensation in the end, but I had to then go and look it up once I decided that's what I wanted. I was like, oh, wonder why I wanted that. So I looked up the oils first. Let me just find clary sage. So clary sage here, it says here general intolerance as the emotion. Yeah, probably. And the alarm point, for some reason it's called toxic, so I don't know what that means. It'd be good to find out a little bit more about why that's called toxic, that alarm point. But I will go back to the emotion of general intolerance and see what it says there. These beautiful birds in my yard, because the chicken's food is like gold for all the little other birds, the pigeons and the rosellas and other birds around, but they're so gorgeous. But you can hear it when when they come in, because the chickens make a lot of noise. So general in, what did I say? Oh, intolerance. It says here on the other side is reasonable, and it says way out, I am tolerant. The oil to use is clary sage, and the alarm point is toxic on chart E. So I'll go to chart E and show you where the point is, where I will be applying clary sage, even though I'm going to be applying it all over my solar plexus kind of area, I guess. Oh, here we go. So here's the different points that this book has referred to, and you'll see the word toxic there, and if you look up there, it's at the bottom of the sternum, on both sides of the bottom of the sternum. So that's I don't know why it's called toxic. I don't know if we hold toxins there, or if it's something to do with toxic behavior. I'm not quite sure, but it'd be interesting to find out what those actual meridian points are there, to kind of make a correlation, because I've not done that yet. And the other one is sensation. So let's look up sensation and see what it says about sensation. So sensation, wow, okay, the emotion says violated. So, I mean, talking about birth and talking about that traumatic experience, I would say there's some level of feeling violated there. And then the alarm point is around the uterus and prostate. So kind of makes sense, I guess. So that is about women's wellness, and also about men's wellness, obviously, as well. So let me look up the emotion of violated and see what it says there. So here, so violated on the other side is honoured, and then the way out is I respect you, and the oily sensation, and the alarm point is uterus prostate, and that's on picture C on the chart C. So I'll get up the C chart, and I'm sure we'll be able to find it relatively easy. So uterus prostate is very much exactly over where it says uterus prostate. There it is there. Oh, whoops, that one there. So it's just above. Oh no, hang on. Yeah, it's kind of just on the bottom of the pelvic bone right there. So, yeah, that makes sense. I'll tell you what's in sensation. But there were two relevant women's wellness oils that I was like, oh, I wonder what it says in the book, even though I chose the sensation intuitively, and clary sage was one that I chose because of wellness, already well-known wellness reason, well, women's wellness reasons. But what is actually in sensation, it's a beautiful aroma. So we have, and I'll talk to you about my eyesight in a minute too, because a lot of my videos have me wearing glasses in them of late. And I'm in the afternoon now. I tried to do this video early this morning, but my actual phone had too much video, not enough space to put a long video on it. So let's continue on here. So the first, it's only just starting to look a little bit blurry now, but I've been able to read most of the day without it being so bad, but I can still make it out. It's coriander, lang lang, bergamot, jasmine and geranium, and you can really smell the coriander and jasmine in it. It's such a pleasant aroma, a pleasantly surprising aroma. I love sensation, and clary sage is a gorgeous aroma as well. So you'll be I mean, I mean, some people probably, you'll either love it or you'll hate it, but I always think that your palette can change anyhow. So, look, the birds are back again. These beautiful yellow and blue. Look, they look like rosellas, but I don't know what they are. And the other thing I wanted to share with you, to try and kind of bring this video to a close on some level as well, is that I've been, and you might be able to see it, this cheek is a little bit more swollen than this cheek, but it doesn't help that the lighting is different and I'm facing a certain way. You probably can't really tell how swollen this cheek is up in here. My sinuses look really quite thick up in here anyway, like you can see the tightness. But I've actually got a really bad tooth up here at the moment, and I've been really taking a lot of my good healthy fats to be able to help the inflammation come down on that, which I've been super grateful for those working, because otherwise I'm guessing I would be in a really bad situation with a really bad infection, and I think I would be really in a lot of pain. But I'm in discomfort. It is swollen and inflamed, but it's like when I'm doing the regime that I'm doing right now with my dental care, plus also now taking the good healthy oils. So the oils that I'm taking, and I have taken because I've just literally run out of the hawthorn berry, I think it's called, sea hawthorn berry, I think. And that's actually a plant, surprisingly. It doesn't come from the ocean as it alludes to. So that's run out now. That's meant to be having omega-7s in it, which is great for dry eyes. And I got that from a health food store, and I've been taking them. And also I have been taking evening primrose oil in capsules. I've got the actual the oil in a bottle, and I capsulize it myself because I just don't like taking oils. And in Young Living's range, once again, I've been taking the Omega Dries. And Omega Dries is a fish oil with essential oils like clove in it. And clove stabilizes the fish oil because it's a high ORAC score. So it's a very, I guess it's a very protected fish oil, because some of those other fish oils can probably be quite rancid. So along with many other oils, I think if it's not refrigerated at the very minimum, then it's definitely not something that you want to be really using to put in your body. But I guess if you're desperate, you will. So I've been taking the hawthorn, the sea hawthorn berry, the Omega Dries, the evening primrose oil, and I've also been using the olive essentials by Young Living. It's like a very it's like a freeze-dried form of olive leaf tincture, if you ask me, but it's got other properties in there as well. It's got other supplements within that. It's already a capsulized product, which is great. It's not a powder or liquid. And the other one is mineral essence. And if you've heard me speak on mineral essence before, which is probably unlikely because I probably have spent a lot of time avoiding that product for a long time because it's got bee pollen in it, and I'm not very much, I don't resonate with bee pollen. I've had other inflammations come up from taking bee pollen. However, I thought I would ease into taking the bee pollen. Well, it's a mineral essence. I just got a small amount in it, I guess, and you can see it because it makes the actual tincture quite thick. And it will go on the tincture dropper as well. It'll stick to it. It's quite thick. And so I actually use that to put into capsules as well. So I ease myself into taking that. I don't take it a lot. I take it when I feel like I want to take it. It's very much an intuitive thing. I don't take it on a regular. But that has definitely been something I've been taking lately as well. So by the time I've been taking all these good minerals and good fats and healthy oils, in my diet as well as taking supplements, I feel like it's really reduced inflammation down a lot in my gums and in that bad tooth that's really quite nasty at the moment, and I'm hoping to get that removed on Thursday. So I'm excited about that, even though I'm not excited at the same time. So make sure you look after your teeth, make sure you take some some things to look after your dentals, because once they're gone, I mean, I have heard random, very, very rare stories of people growing teeth back, but I think the likelihood of that happening is very low. Unless some miraculous thing happens, then I'm guessing that most people are not going to grow their teeth back. So once you don't have your teeth, you're probably relying on dentures, and they're definitely not the same as having your own teeth. So make sure you look after your dental care. And one last thing, because I know that I have been talking for quite some time, but I'm hoping you're enjoying this content. So if you are, please give me a thumbs up. If there's any information that you'd like to know more on and I can send it to you, just reach out to me or put it in the comments and I'll reach out to you. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That sums it up. And if there's anything that's in this video that you feel is shareable, feel free to share this video with your friends as well. Just click on the link and get that shareable. My last thing before I close off is this aloe vera, which I've been growing. So this one's starting to kind of die off now, so I figured it's a good time. It's nice and full after a lot of rain we've had recently. My hair feels very very humid orientated at the moment. I feel like, oh, it's not a frizz, it's just like a funny oily flatness, which, you know, after washed hair, you don't want your hair to look oily, you want it to look shiny, but because of the humidity it just looks really oily at the moment. So this actually smells, it's not the nicest smell at all. At first I was like, what is that smell? And then I realized it's actually the aloe vera. So you can see the green on the end there. That green liquid is not good. And I've just got a cloth here, so I'm just going to wipe it off. Just dab it off. You can see how sticky aloe vera is. It's quite sticky. So generally people will get a knife and slice aloe vera. But I tend to just like to peel it off. So you can see it peeling nicely there for me. And that opens up, and generally speaking, you cannot see the green stuff. The green stuff is kind of oozed off, and some aloe vera probably has more than others, so you just need to kind of know your aloe vera, I guess. But this aloe vera is so amazing for the skin, and the ability for aloe vera to do wound healing is unbelievable. I don't know if you know this information, but I got taught this a long time ago. And it's actually like, you know, look at this. It's almost like a surfactant in some ways, because it kind of gets a little bit of like a hand soap kind of feel to it. It's an incredible plant. But basically, by using aloe vera, and I love aloe vera in whatever I can get it in, on the skin, and even you can put it in smoothies and things like that. It's pretty gross, like, you know, if you don't like these kind of textures, which I definitely don't, but it's not so bad when you know that it's like doing you well, I guess, with regards to having it as beautiful a skin repair. So yeah, so hydrating the skin, usually what happens is it brings well, definitely moisture to the skin, but what happens is you've got a certain amount of layers of skin underneath here, and I've just had my elbow down, so excuse my creases in my elbow there. I've just had it on all of the stuff on the desk. So you've got about 6 layers of skin, and this bottom part of your skin under the, so this top layer of skin is up here, this bottom is here. So what actually happens is aloe vera helps the skin generate, so it gets this bottom layer to the surface quicker. It's like a process by which the skin does its growth, I guess. And so if you can get your skin, your newest, most freshest skin to the top, you're going to have healthy looking skin. Whereas the skin on top is usually the exposed skin, the skin that's like probably holding all of the, you know, general environmental pollutions, and it's probably quite murky and dirty depending on, you know, what you're doing. So, you know, if you're not, you know, cleansing your skin very well, that top layer of skin is probably dull and not very nice. So Aloe vera is one of those things that actually helps the skin regenerate quicker, which is why it's great for wound care as well. So yeah, so I love aloe vera. I wanted to show you because I pulled it out of my garden and it was just an extra added bonus. It had nothing to do with Young Living, but everything to do with skin, and I'm a big lover of skin, and it's the biggest organ in our body and we should really look after it. And I definitely feel like, you know, even like putting this into a smoothie or something like that, or blending it up and putting it into a skincare bottle, if you will, like your own aloe vera gel for whatever reason, is also very cool. So, you know, if I can even just like promote people to grow their own aloe vera and have a little aloe vera succulent garden, it's highly beneficial for, you know, any kind of skin stuff. So, and also repair. From what I understand, if I was to cut that piece of flesh of the jelly of the aloe vera out, which I'm just going to slide my finger on it now. Let me show you. I just cut it with my nail and just slid my finger down underneath it there. So you can see that's a nice big kind of like long chunky piece of aloe vera there. That there, it's pretty goopy. It's kind of like snot, I guess, which is why I guess people would probably have sensory issues with this. But seeing that piece of that clear flesh like that, you know, if you're brave enough to, you know, even put that around your gums, if you were to just like use it as a gum mask, it's actually really beneficial for your gums as well. So I highly recommend aloe vera on all levels for so many things. Internally, it's great for your gut if you're going to take it in a smoothie. There's a whole bunch of processed aloe veras out there. Not all aloe veras are equal because some of them are probably more aligned for skin and wounds than for taking internally. There's different kinds of aloe veras. They're not all the same, like I said. So, you know, just, I guess, get yourself up to scratch on the different aloe veras and make yourself aware. And then you can feel free to have a play with doing different experiments in your skincare regime with a bit of aloe vera, which is always going to be very nourishing and healing for your body. So, oh my goodness, look at all of that aloe vera in there right now. It's like it's almost dripping. It's just like so beautiful after I pulled that bit out. It's like such a beautiful thing to see, but then there's all this. I mean, it's just such a cool consistency, if you ask me. I mean, I'm not into like, you know, this in general. Like, snot makes me want to vomit. So, you know, knowing that this is like good for me, like really good for my skin and hair and gums and everything. Look at how like it's very surfactant. It's like you could literally probably, and I don't know the science behind that, but you could probably sterilize your hands with aloe vera, I'm guessing. Look at it. It's like a soap. It's pretty cool. So yeah, so aloe vera is, yeah, it's epic. I love it. You can probably yeah, get where I'm coming from because of the divineness of it and the naturalness of it. I just, what's not to love? And also, once it's in your skin, it doesn't leave that same sticky residue that you can see, like how it is all like stringy and sticky like that. It just feels like water, like you're just like gliding your hand to create like a water type base. Like, and like, I mean, even look at my hand now. Like my hand looks like my pores are tight. It's slightly tacky on my hands, but on my arms it's definitely not. It's more like a water up on my arms. So, but that will go away probably because I've still got it on my palms as well. And yeah, I just can't speak highly enough of aloe vera for all of its benefits. So I hope that alone gets a thumbs up at the very end of my video. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye for now.